Addis' job. Addis is paid per 100 for 5 hours of work. At this rate, how much would Addis make for 8 hours of work? At this rate again, how long would Addis have to work to make per 216? Use double number line, tables, and unit rate, or you can also use equation to solve the problem. Pause the video and try first. Okay, let's solve the problem. First, let's use double number line. Let's use double number line. Okay, draw the line, 2 lines. Okay, and then you need to label the lines. Let's use the first one, will be payment. Okay, payment. Let it be wage or payment. Payment in per. And the other one is time. Okay, time in hour. Okay, so let's now model this problem. All right, for every 5 hours, okay, is paid 100 per. So in order to if he works for 8 hours, okay, how much he will be paid? What's the wage? Okay, so let's see what's the change here. What's the change here? What will happen to 5 to 8? 3 more. But since we're working ratio, okay, we have to kind of divide or relate. Okay, let's see. How long do you think it will be paid for every hour? Which means I'm indirectly working on unit rate. So let's determine in 1 hour how much he is paid. So that I'm going to multiply by 8. So for 1 hour, which means I should divide here by 5. How long will it? That's 1, right? It will be paid. He will work 1 hour. 1 hour. So you have to do the same thing. How long? I mean, how much he will be paid. So divide here by 5. Okay. So that we make equivalent fraction. Now, when you divide 100 by 5, that would be 20. Okay. So which means if he just did for 1 hour, he will be paid 20 per. So the point now here is when you change from 1 to 8, if he works for 8 hours, it's easy to work now. If he works from 8 hours for 8 hours, how much he has to pay? So you have to multiply now by 8. Multiply by 8. So do the same thing here. Multiply by 8 in order to get the same thing. So times 8. So when you multiply by 8, you will end up 160 per. Therefore, if he works for 8 hours, okay, his payment, the payment will be 160 per. Okay, for 8 hours, the payment will be 160 per. So let's use table here. Let me draw a table first. Okay, so let me make kind of table here. Okay, so this is what we have. Let's label this table. So we already said the first one is payment. Let me use P, and this is hour. Okay, so payment is here, P, and the hour is here. Okay, payment and hour. Okay, so what we had here, I'm gonna repeat the same thing. Okay, I'm gonna repeat the same thing here. because you have to practice also table. So for every 5 hour, he will be paid 100 birr. Okay, so write the unit also here, birr, and this is hour or hour. And then now the point is, if he works for 8 hours, how long or how much he will be paid. So let's do the same scenario or the same change. Or you can also do here the unit rates indirectly. The unit rate, when I mean divide it. Okay, divide this by 5. Okay, so you have here 1, and then do the same thing, divide by 5. So you have here 20. Okay, in order to reach to look, for every 1 hour, if he is paid 20 birr, for 2 hours, okay, for 2 hours he will be paid 14. For 3, okay, for 2 hours you will be paid 14. For 3 hours at 20, which is 16. It will continue, right? For example, for 6 hour, he will be paid how long or how much, which means multiply by 6, which is 120. Again, for 7, he will be, you can see the sequence here. It's good to see the sequence. For 7, he will be paid 114. Okay, for 7, if he works 7 hours, he will be paid 114. And then 8 hours, he will be paid 116. Okay, so you see the table helps you more to visualize the problem. Lastly, let's use equation. Okay, let's use equation. Okay, in this case, let's take the ratio. Okay, let me cover this one. Okay, let's take the ratio of payment with respect to hour he works. Okay, so in the first, he has a payment 100 over 5. So when you work this one, it will be 20. Okay, so when you crisscross upside, you have P is equals to 20 times H. But you need to understand what this equation means. This equation is telling you that for every hour you work, okay, the payment will be increased by 20 times. Okay, this is kind of slope. This is the rate of change. Therefore, for every hour, whatever time is given here, it's given only 8 hours. If you are given 10 hours, if you are given 24 hours, a week, a day, a month, a year, you can use this formula. It's difficult to solve, like if the question is for a year with this table. You can't list all the days. Even it's difficult to use this double number line. You see the power of algebra. It can solve any problem, any hour, for every hour of this at this time. So in this case, 20 times 8, it would be 120.